This is the Razer Seiren V2 X. It sits in the middle of the Seiren product stack between the Mini and the V2 Pro, and it's tuned to provide a crisp and natural sound, and it offers a few key features that you won't find on the entry-level Seiren Mini. In the box, we got this signed thank you card from Razer's CEO because he wants you to feel all warm and fuzzy inside when you buy their stuff. Next up, we got this user's guide. There's lots of information in here, and it's in multiple languages. This is the power cable. It's USB-A to USB-C, but notice the custom shape on it. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. Here's the stand base. It's solid and heavy, and it's got some soft rubbery foam type of material on the bottom. And here's the mic. If you're familiar with the Seiren Mini, then you're probably noticing how similar the design looks to that one. Build quality on here feels good. It's about the same as the Seiren Mini, which I thought was perfectly fine. I know some reviewers kind of had a problem with it and thought there was too much plastic, but you know what? I can squeeze this as hard as I want and I can't feel any flexibility at all. It's very strong plastic and I don't think you're gonna have any problems with it as far as the build goes. The grate up at the top's metal, and actually that's the only place on here you're gonna find any metal. They gave us a gain control knob on here, which I love, but they kind of blew it with the build quality on it. It's this cheap sort of plastic cap thing, and I can wiggle it around and it makes noise and it just doesn't sound or feel good. And on top of that, there's no indications to show you like what your gain's actually set to, and it'll just completely spin in circles in either direction. There's no hard stops or anything. I think that's just too bad. That's a missed opportunity. That's a great control to have on a USB microphone, and they kind of blew it in my opinion. So the only good thing I can say is any gain control on a mic is better than nothing. So, I mean, at least there's that. And having this on here might mean a little bit less reliance on software. And for some people, that can be a big deal. And they also threw in this mute button on here. So you can toggle between muted and live just by pressing that, which is nice to have. And it lights up green when you're live and red when you're muted. So hopefully you don't make any embarrassing mistakes on live stream. Around back, we have a 3.5mm jack, so you can plug in a pair of headphones and monitor your audio that way. And down here, we also have the USB-C port. They designed this to fit and blend in with the shape of the mic. And it looks good, but the custom shape means you can't just plug any USB-C cable in here because it might not fit depending on the size and shape of the plug. It's not the end of the world, but I wanted to mention it in the video because if something happens to this cable that came with it, you're gonna have to replace it with something aftermarket most likely, and your options might be limited because whatever you get, the plug connector on the end has to be able to fit inside that little notch on there, and if it doesn't, you might be out of luck. So there might be a little trial and error if you're trying to replace this cable. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. Maybe on future models, I'd like to see just a regular USB-C connection without the need for this weird plug. The capsule connects to the stand with this little adapter rod. It threads onto the stand and then into the base of the mic. Super easy to set up. It gives you some front, back, and side-to-side movement to help get it into the right position. And if you don't want to use the stand and you're planning to use a boom arm, the bottom has a 5/8 thread, so it should be compatible with most booms. Just be careful though, because it looks like it's plastic. And plastic threads can strip kind of easily if you're not careful. So with the V2X, they included an analog gain limiter that's supposed to kick in and help prevent your audio from clipping. But to be able to enable or disable it, you're gonna have to get Synapse, which is just Razer's basic software suite that works with all their products. If you don't already have it, I know a lot of people already do. And there's some other settings in there as well that'll let you mix all your volumes together to get everything sounding the way you want it. There's also a built-in shock absorber to help reduce annoying vibrations, and it's actually integrated right into the capsule. The limiter and the shock absorber are really good features for people that don't like to worry a whole lot about their mic settings when they're recording or streaming or whatever. They're kind of like set it and forget it features, if that makes any sense. The limiter should kick in and prevent your audio from clipping if things get heated and you happen to get a little bit too loud, so it can save you there. And then that shock absorber should prevent any annoying vibrations from ruining your audio clips while you're, smashing around on your keyboard during a gaming session. And we're gonna test both of those features in these audio tests. This is it right now, the Razer Seiren V2 X official audio test. It's picking up my voice in front of me, sitting on my desk. You can see it right here. It's being recorded in real time on my laptop right over here. So what you hear is what you can expect to get if you buy one of these things. I will not apply any After Effects or any like post-production stuff to it, no audio editing whatsoever. The only thing that I do when I'm doing a mic review is I might adjust the volume just so that it matches the rest of the video, so that you're not jumping around with your audio levels, so that you're not so your ears aren't bleeding or something, jumping from really high to really low all over the place and stuff. So yeah, hopefully this gives you an idea what this thing sounds like and whether or not it's going to be good enough for what you want to use it for, whether it be gaming, streaming, making YouTube content, or whatever, really. So one of the things that I really want to test here is how well this thing blocks out vibrations from keyboards, because if you're gaming, then you're probably banging around on a mechanical keyboard or whatever, and it can be really annoying if all those sounds get picked up. So this thing's got that built-in shock mount in there. So we're going to go ahead and hit some of these keys and see what that sort of sounds like. So, try and listen to see if you're hearing any sounds reverberating into the audio. Now, this is a red linear switch mechanical board, so it's not the loudest board out there. It doesn't have clicky switches, but still it can make quite a bit of noise. So here we go. For this next setup, I took the mic and I moved it behind the keyboard. So I think this is kind of more common, in my opinion anyway, where you might not want that mic sitting right in front of your face because it can be a little bit distracting. So you just push it to the other side of your keyboard. It gives you a little bit more space. Now, that's not the most ideal setup because you've added a little bit more distance between your mouth and the capsule that's picking up the sound. So there's that to consider. But at the same time, yeah, it's a little bit more of a comfortable setup as far as I'm concerned. So let's go ahead and do the same thing, bang around on some keys and see what we get. For this setup, I took the mic and just kind of moved it off to the side, closer to where my mouse is. And the reason for that is, let's be realistic here. If you've got two monitors or one monitor in front of you, you might find a microphone a little bit distracting. Whether it's directly in front of you or on the other side of the keyboard, it's still in front of your monitor. And some people just don't like visual, obstacles in front of there. So totally understandable. You might want to push the mic off to the side. And that's why I'm doing this test right now, because now we've got an off-axis pickup pattern. I'm looking straight ahead, I'm talking, and it has to sort of pick up my voice on an angle, which is definitely not going to be ideal. So this can really sort of show you how well a microphone can perform. And we'll go ahead and we'll bang around on the keys again and see what we get. One of the other features I said I wanted to test on this thing was that analog gain limiter that they built in. So that's supposed to protect us from peaking out or losing information as our audio clips if we get too loud. So what I'll do is I'll speak really loudly and get really close to the microphone without the limiter on, which it's not on right now. And we'll see what that sounds like. It should sort of crackle and start to fall apart. And then we'll go ahead and turn it on, do the same thing, and see what the difference is. So let's go ahead and do that now. This is the test without the analog gain limiter on, and the audio is probably peaking and sounding pretty bad right about now. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and we'll basically do the same thing and see what we get. All right, now it's on. This is the exact same audio test, but now with the analog gain limiter on, and it should be protecting my audio or my sound from peaking and sounding terrible. Hopefully this sounds better, and hopefully that means this feature is working. Here's the Razer Seiren Mini, just so that you can compare it to what that V2 X is giving you. Hopefully a bit more because it's more expensive than this one. This one's kind of its little brother. It's a lot smaller and more compact, a little bit more portable and travel friendly. If if you're somebody that wants to take your microphone with you, maybe this is something you'd be interested in. So yeah, let's bang around on the keyboard and you can compare this to the V2 X and see what you like better. Here's another small compact mic for comparison. This is the HyperX Solocast. We'll bang around on the keyboard and give you an idea what this one sounds like compared to that V2 X. And this is your big boy. This is the HyperX Quadcast. This thing is a monster. I actually had to slide the keyboard back so that I had enough room for it here so that it didn't completely block my face and you can actually still see me on camera. That's how big this thing is. And I actually think it's in a little bit of a different category compared to the V2X because it's a little bit more money, but it's a little bit older at the same time and it does go on sale. So you might be able to get a deal on it that brings it to the same price as the V2X or maybe even cheaper. So that's why I thought it was worth throwing into this for comparison purposes. So it's also got this giant shock mount on it. So it'll be interesting to see how that compares to the built-in one that's on these Seiren microphones over here. So let's bang on the keyboard and see what we get. I think we got a pretty decent sounding mic here on our hands with the V2X. You know, sound is something that's like super subjective. Everybody's gonna have a different idea of what sounds good to them and what sounds better than something else. So I really want you to take a look at this video, go back to those sound tests and use them to form your own opinion about what this sounds like and whether or not it's gonna be the right microphone for the type of content you wanna make with it. Personally, I like how the V2X sounds. I think it's noticeably better than the two compact options that we tested, and it's delivering audio quality closer to what you can get with the gigantic Quadcast, but without being absolutely gigantic like that thing. That vibration reduction does a good job, and it's impressive because it's built right into this little capsule. It's not this huge external suspension system like the Quadcast has. The gain limiter is a nice touch as well, like it just kind of runs in the background and gives you that extra little bit of protection. Now, I don't think it works miracles by any means. You should always be setting your audio levels before you start a recording. That's always going to give you the best results, but in a pinch, if you make a mistake, I think it can save you in some situations. At the end of the day, the V2X is not perfect, but it is offering features that make it both fun and easy to use. So I'm gonna have the specs, the full details and all that stuff along with the purchasing links down in the description. Make sure you check it out if you're interested, and tell us in the comments, what was your favorite microphone out of that lineup of tests that we did? Is it gonna be the V2X, the Seiren Mini, the Solocast, or that gigantic Quadcast on the end over here? I'm really interested what everybody thinks and what their preference is. Give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.